let's practice. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to come onto your mat in hero's pose. You might want to block underneath you. But basically what it means is sitting like this, okay? Sitting back on your heels or with your shins on your mat. Once you arrive there, bring your left hand onto your heart space and your right hand down onto kind of your mid-belly range. Okay. And let where your right hand is represent your embodiment, your presence here on this earth plane. The fact that you are an individual. And then let your left hand represent that you have a heart space that it's true is yours alone, but it is also a space where we can commune and converge with all the hearts on the planet, with all beings everywhere. And these are the two parts of us we want to bring together. Both of them are needed to do this work of evolving the planet, of bringing all of humanity and actually all beings, all living creatures, back into a state of being re-enchanted with life. If your eyes aren't closed, blink them closed. Feel your breath move all the way down into your belly. And let your right hand just gently press against your belly to draw that breath back out of you so that you have room to take another full, expansive inhale. Allow your shoulders to settle. We're going to do a lot of shoulder work today. Let the sides of your neck lengthen, your jaw soften, all the muscles in your face and the tension around your eyes and the holding pattern in your skull to soften and let go. With each subsequent breath, drop further into the body that exists from the neck down. Blink your eyes open. Take your left hand and tent it off to the side, okay? Let your right arm sweep in front of your face and over alongside the right side of your head. And then let it swing down in front of you. Take your right fingers over to the right side of your mat and let your left arm sweep up along the left side of your head. Keep that going now. Let the arm veil in front and then move the right arm up and alongside your head. Keep this action going several more times, allowing yourself to really feel the rotation in the shoulder. Really complex set of muscles and joints and directions that we can move this part of our body. Beautiful, and then come back to center. Okay, come to tabletop position. Once you arrive in tabletop, take your sit bones back towards your heels like you're moving into child's pose. But come right back up into tabletop. And just start this, I like to call it churning. Just kind of this moving forward and back. I imagine that I have a oil can and I'm just kind of squeaking it. I'm working into those squeaky joints in my hips. And with each time you come forward, maybe you press a little bit further, almost towards an upward facing dog or a high cobra. Beautiful. And now sit back in child's pose for a few breaths, resting your sit bones back onto your heels, extending your arms way out in front of you. And then lift your head up some. Weave your right arm underneath your left arm. So thread it underneath. Turn your right palm up if you can. And then bring your head back down towards the floor. Maybe it'll rest on the mat, maybe it won't. And then lift up enough so you can unthread your right arm, extend it out in front of you. Left side, left arm goes under the right, up. Maybe your shoulder presses into the thumb, gives you an opening that way. Deep breath flowing, nice deep inhale all the way into the belly and out. How fast or slow your breath goes isn't important. Even what you're looking for. Okay, unweave your left arm. Come back to tabletop. Curl your toes under. Press your hips up into downward facing dog. Spend a few moments marinating here in this shape. Extending through the arms, lifting the hips, spreading the sit bones. Feel the descent of the back of the legs and the heels towards the mat. Look back between your toes so you're not holding your head. And then walk your feet forward to the top of your mat. When you arrive there, keep a gentle or generous bend in your knees and fold forward into Uttanasana. And with your hands pressed into the floor, heel toe your feet wide as your mat, maybe even off your mat some. Take your right hand over to your left ankle and let your left arm be in front and go over to your right ankle. So you just have this crisscross of your arms. Maybe you stay here and fold forward. Maybe you peek under your left arm some. And then come back to the center if you were peeking and switch your arms. This time your right arm is in front. And maybe you gently peek underneath your right arm. Turn it back into the center. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and heel toe your feet back underneath your shoulders. Now step back to plank pose. When you get there, pause. Knees can be up or down here, but find this pose and begin to build some heat. Navel to spine, heels pressing to the back of your mat, shoulder blades spreading. Gaze is just down out in front of your mat. Lower your knees, lower your chest and chin. Roll forward and come up into cobra pose. And make your way to downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Second down dog of this practice. Body is already more responsive, partly because of the movements you've made, partly because of the breath you're taking, mostly because of the intention with which you practice. Now look forward and step your right foot up between your hands. Simple twist here. Extend your right arm up towards the ceiling and look up at it. Bring your right arm right back down. Go to downward facing dog. Pull out long to plank here. Lower all the way down to your belly. Peel up into cobra pose. And make your way to downward facing dog, maybe through tabletop until you get there. Now step your left foot forward. Simple twist by extending your left arm to the sky. Bring your left arm down. Transition to downward facing dog. Pull out long to plank. And slowly lower down, elbows in close to the body. Lift up using your back muscles into cobra. Turn it into downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Exhale your knees down to your mat. Sit back on your heels. Bring your left hand to your heart, your right hand to your belly. And let this sort of feel like a beginning place and a place you return to here. Back into your body, back into your heart. Okay. Come into downward facing dog, yogis. Look forward. Step your right foot up between your hands. Wave your right arm up to the ceiling for simple twist. Bring your right hand down. Lower your back knee, your left one. Bend your left knee so your toes go up in the air. Sweep your right arm around the right side of your mat. Just wave it back towards your toes. Bring your right arm back around, okay, and take it into downward facing dog. Move it into plank. Lower down. Cobra to downward facing dog. Look forward. Step your left foot between your hands. Wave your left arm up to the ceiling. Simple twist. Bring your left hand down and lower your right knee. Lift your right toes up into the air. Sweep your left arm around. Wave it back towards your foot. Bring your left arm back around. Go to downward facing dog. Come out to plank. You decide if you lower all the way or part way down. And then it's cobra, or maybe your first upward facing dog. And then you go to downward facing dog. Looking forward, step the right foot up. Wave your right arm, simple twist. Bring your right arm down. Lower your left knee. Lift your toes. Sweep your right arm back. Maybe your fingers and your toes touch. Bring your right arm around. Listen, turn your back heel down. Come up and open into Virabhadrasana 2. Today, when you take peaceful, wrap your back arm, your left one here, behind your back, and then tip it back into peaceful. Windmill all the way down to the ground. Step back to downward facing dog. You can stay here or you come out long to plank. You lower down. Come into your back bend. And then you turn it into downward facing dog. Right away, the left foot steps up. Simple twist, left arm lifts. As your arm comes down, your right knee lowers. You bend your knee, you sweep your left arm back, find your toes. Bring it back around. Turn your right heel to the ground so you can swirl your arms up and open into warrior two. Right arm behind you. Tip back to peaceful. Big circle sweep of the arms down to the ground. You can go to down dog and stay there, or you can come out and take your vinyasa. Lower your knees. Sit back on your heels. Left hand goes right to the heart, right hand to the belly. Check in. Deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth and exhale it out. Come back to tabletop. Curl your toes right away. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Simple twist. Inhale the right arm up. Let it come back down. Same time, set the left knee down. Sweep back with your right arm. Look back over your right shoulder. Touch your toes. Come back around, up into warrior two. Take a peaceful warrior with your left arm behind your back. And then straighten your right leg. Come into triangle. Maybe you keep your left arm behind your back, however. Okay? And then your right hand comes down towards your shin or a block or the floor. Now peel the left shoulder up and behind you. Let the back of your head drift towards the right side of your mat. Really nice. One more breath here. Bend your right knee, press up into warrior two. Tip back to peaceful, breathe in. Windmill down to your mat. Go to down dog and stay there, or step back into plank and lower. Find your back bend and move to downward facing dog. Same thing, second side, left foot, step it up. Wave your left arm to the sky. As your arm comes down, your right knee lowers. You bend your toes and you sweep your left arm back and touch your toes. Bring your arm around, come up into warrior two. Set your back heel down first. Press into both legs. Come up and open. Peaceful warrior with the left arm, right arm behind your back. Tip back. Into triangle, so the left leg straightens. The left arm reaches, and then you fold. Think about opening your chest to the side wall or the right side of your mat. Bend your left knee, press back up into warrior two. Take another peaceful and windmill down. Taking some breaths in down dog or moving through plank to chaturanga, to upward facing dog, to downward facing dog. Okay, we'll add on from there. Okay. Look forward, step your right foot between your hands. Look. Simple twist, right arm to the sky. Bring your right arm down, your left knee lowers. Bend your back knee, sweep your right arm around. Maybe each time it gets a little more accessible. Then you come back around, set your left heel down, windmill up into warrior two. Tip back to peaceful. Left arm is behind your back. Transition into side angle now. Your right knee will stay bent. Your right arm can rest on your right shin, or you take it down by your right ankle. Same thing, peel the chest and the heart open to the left side of your mat. Extend through the crown of your head and ground down through your left foot just as much as your right foot. Beautiful. Just look down at your right toes. Frame your front foot with your fingers and lower your left knee to the ground. Okay. From here, just lift your hips, slide your back foot up some, and fold in pyramid pose. So you might come up, reposition your belly and your chest over your right leg, and then fold. Shorter stance, both legs are long. Back heel is on the ground, so adjust what you need to adjust to make that happen. Okay, lift up. Step your left foot back some. Be in a lunge here. Lower your left knee to the ground again. And then cactus your arms and just come into a bit of a back bend, presenting your heart towards the sky. Gaze can go up. And then bring your hands down to the ground. Step back to downward facing dog. Right away, step your left foot forward. Simple twist, left arm lifts. As your arm comes down, your right knee lowers to the ground. Bend your right knee. Sweep your left arm back and find your right toes. Bring your left arm back around. Lower your back heel. Swirl up in to Virabhadrasana 2. Tip back into peaceful. Transition into side angle. Side angle, the front leg is bent. The back leg is long. You can keep your right arm behind your back. And open through the belly and the chest. Let the spiral open happen through the whole front midline of the body, not just the right shoulder here. Look down at your left toes, frame your foot, drag your back toes up some so you have that shorter stance, and you can set yourself up for pyramid pose. Keep drawing the left hip bone back and up. Grounding down through both feet as even as you can here. And then lift your upper body some, just so you could step your right toes back further. Lower your right knee to the ground, cactus your arms, and come up into a back bend. And then bring your hands down. Listen, just step back and sit on your shins. Hero's pose. Left hand to the heart, right hand to the belly. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Return to downward facing dog, please. Look forward just so you get your chest out of the way some and step your right foot forward. Find your simple twist. Your body knows this. Bring your right hand down. Lower your left knee. Bend your back knee so your toes go up. Sweep your right arm around. Bring your right arm back, lower your back toes. Arrive up in warrior two again. Peaceful warrior with your left arm behind your back, tip back. Windmill all the way down to your ground. Listen. Step back to three-legged downward facing dog. So send your right leg to the sky. You can stay here or you can come into wild thing. Let your right foot dribble behind you. And then your right arm extends alongside your head here. Gaze could turn up to the sky. You're going to come all the way back around to plank pose. Once you get there, shift both heels to the right and find Vastisthasana, side plank. Right knee can come down to the ground. Back to plank. You can take a vinyasa here or go right to downward facing dog. See the space between your hands and step your left foot there. Find your simple twist, left arm rising. As your left arm comes down, your right knee lowers. Lift your right toes, sweep your left arm around, look for your foot. Bring your arm back around, come up and open into Virabhadrasana 2. So tip back into peaceful. Windmill your arms all the way down to the ground. Take it into three-legged downward facing dog, left leg lifting. Stay here or find your simple or your wild thing. Left leg goes behind you. Sweep up, left arm is alongside your head. Lift through the center body, arch it to the sky. Come back around. You're going all the way to side plank. Left hand down, shifting to the left side of your foot, extending your right arm. Come back into plank. Lower your knees. Sit back on your heels. Your hands, your agents of change and action in the world, go right back to the place of being connected to your body and connected to your heart. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And then come forward and shift onto your belly, please, with your head at the top of your mat. When you get down here, just bend both knees. Reach back, find your ankles or the tops of your feet. And hold on and lift up into a bow pose. Lower back down, crisscross your arms out in front of you and rest your forehead on your top arm. Soften through the glutes, let your head be heavy and your legs be heavy. All ends of the body surrendering. And then take another bow pose. Bend both of your knees. Reach back. You can always do Shalabhasana if this is too much. Okay. But knees stay tracking behind your hips here. Lift, kick, extend, be in the back bend for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, shift right into child's pose, please. Press into your hands so you can take your hips back over your heels and find this shape. Okay, lift up to tabletop. Curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Look forward, step your right forward or your right foot between your hands. Okay. Walk both hands around to the left side of your mat. You're going to come into a really low skandasana. So you're going to bend your left knee, turn your right toes up to the sky here. Good. And then switch it all the way to the other side. Walk both hands over by your right toes and turn your left toes up when you get there. And then walk your hands to the middle. Come into a wide-legged forward fold. So your feet should be about the right distance. Hands can come underneath your shoulders and then pour the upper body forward and down. And then maybe your hands come to your ankles and you hold on a bit, lifting and spreading the sit bones as, like I said, you pour the upper body forward. Then bring your hands to the center. One more set of skandasana. This time you're going to go to the right side first. So bring your hands to the right, bend the right knee, turn the left toes up. And this time you can just kind of wave your left arm kind of up and back behind you some. And bring your left arm back down to the mat. Switch to skandasana on the second side. So your left knee is bent, right leg is long, right toes are turned up towards the sky. Your left arm stays down, and your right arm waves and sweeps up. And you kind of look back at your right fingers. Bring your right hand down. Come back into a wide-legged forward fold. So both legs long and wide apart. Turn your fingers towards the place behind you and just walk your hands back. Walk them back behind your ankles if you can. Keep your legs long and your arms long without locking out your knees. Allow the head to hang. Walk your hands back if they're way behind you and bring your hands under your shoulders, okay? Start to heel toe your feet in. Not hip distance, still wider than your hips. But then turn your toes out and sit down into Malasana. So I should have a block here to demo, but maybe you're sitting on a block that's right down underneath your tailbone. Okay? Elbows come inside your knees. And think about yourself as like one of those birds that drinks out of water. Eventually you want to rest. Let the weight of the tailbone drop straight down. So shoulders and the crown of the head are right over your hips if you can. And then you could stay just like this, or let your right arm come down in front of your right leg like a kickstand and sweep your left arm up. You could stay like that, or you could come into a bind, which means your left arm comes around behind you and you're wrapping your arms around your right leg. Still kind of looking back over your left shoulder as you do so. Release the bind if you have it. Bring your left arm down and switch to the other side. Your left arm becomes the kickstand. Your right arm sweeps. So this is option one. Taking the half bind with the right arm behind you is the second option. Or finding the full bind around the left leg is the third. Undo the bind if you have one. Everybody bring your hands back to your heart center. Draw your fingers down right in front of your breastbone here. Nice. Now take your hands just around behind you and you're going to sit down onto your bum here. Both legs are going to go out long, wide-legged. And then to start doing some sweeping, go towards the left first. Just let your left hand travel down your left leg. Sweep your right arm up alongside your head. Feel a nice side opener. And then come back through center. Now your right hand looks for your right toes as your left arm sweeps up. And keep going, inhaling up to center and exhaling over the left side. Back up, breathing in, descend as you breathe out. Next time you get back by your left leg, bring your left elbow and forearm down inside your left leg. And then your right arm can sweep up alongside your head, and maybe it reaches for your right toes. And here, way back in the beginning when we were peeking under our shoulder in that standing forward fold, find that again, peeking underneath the right arm. Now reach your right arm up towards the sky, lift up. Bend your left knee for Jani Shirsasana, so your left foot will come to the inside of your right thigh. Extend both arms straight up over your head. Turn towards your right toes and fold over, sending the midline of your upper body right over the midline of your right leg. Reaching out beyond your toes. Maybe fingers come to the block out there. Keep thinking about drawing your pelvis back so that you're extending long over your right leg. And then for the last couple breaths, round, surrender in, soften your heart, your whole upper body over your right leg. And then take that softened, available heart into stargazer pose. Lift up, set your left hand behind you, sweep the right arm up as you roll onto the top of the left knee. And then come back down. Lengthen both legs out into a wide-legged stance again. And this time start towards the right side, more sweeps. Let your right hand travel down your right shin, sweep your left arm up alongside your head. Inhale, pull to center, go towards the left side. Inhale back to the middle, fold over the right leg, exhaling. Back up to the center, one more time over to the left. Back up to the middle, and this time you're going to fold to the right and stay there. So right forearm comes down inside your right leg. Okay? Maybe your left arm is just behind you and wrapping and reaching around towards the top of your right thigh. A slightly deeper expression is to move your right arm down closer to your right ankle. Lift your left arm and lay it alongside the left side of your head, reaching for your right toes. Pull back up to center. Bend your right knee so your right foot comes to the inner left thigh. Sit up nice and tall, extending both arms overhead. Turn towards your left leg, which is extended. Breathe in. Use the exhale to get long over the left leg. And for the last few breaths, round, fold. And going into the cave of your inner heart here. Paying witness to this beautiful, soft, tender heart that you carry with you all the time, that you use your practice to excavate and reveal again. And then lift up, walk your hands back. Stargazer on the second side, right hand behind you. Roll up onto the top of the right knee, sweeping the left arm up. And then back down to the ground. Extend both legs out wide again. Hands come to the front. Actually, let's do this. Let's do Baddha Konasana first. So bring the soles of your feet together here. Walk your sit bones a little closer to your heels. Okay. And then you can wrap your hands underneath the pinky toe side of your feet. Sit up nice and straight and drag your knees down towards the ground. If your shoulders did what mine did, draw them back down. And then you could stay here. You can bend your elbows and pitch your upper body forward into a forward fold in Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Come up One more extension of the legs out wide. And now walk your hands forward. Maybe you come down to your forearms and pause here. Maybe your arms extend long and you go forward, folding even further. Come up nice and slow and mindfully. When you're back up, slide your legs together. Turn towards the front of your mat. Place your feet on the floor out in front of you, arms out in front. Okay? So I like to think of this as descending into rest, but going there with a much more energized, alive, awake, alert experience of being myself. So give yourself that gift as you calm down nice and slow. Realize that you're bringing yourself into a state of rest soon, but it's an alert and alive rest. Extend your arms out long like a T. Pull your thighs to your belly. Inhale and let both knees go off to the left side of your mat. Keep your right shoulder on the floor. Turn your gaze to the right. Bring both knees back up to the middle and exhale them to the right. Think about keeping the left shoulder on the floor, turning your gaze to the left and then closing your eyes and softening and uncoiling. So much of this work of coming back into wholehearted living has to do with uncoiling this nervous system of ours that gets all stirred up by the drama of the day. Bring your knees back to center. Extend your legs out long. Take a full body stretch, arms up alongside your head. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, big stretch, full body yawn. And then arms alongside your body, palms turned up. Settle, soften, and descend into yourself. Start to breathe a little deeper. Wiggle your fingers and move your toes. Draw your thighs to your belly and roll to your right side. Press your way up to a seated position, please.
Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fear.
Bring your left hand to your heart, your right hand to your belly.
Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth take care of me.
And as you sit here, the same person but different, notice that the power of love is here now. Notice that the power of now is here now. And we use this magic. It's not really magic, it's our essence. We use this essence to go forward now off our mat. This is when the work begins. The practice we've just done is preparation for taking our whole selves back out into the world. Draw your hands together in front of your heart and then draw that up in front of your third eye center. Commit to right thought. Bring your hands to your lips and commit to right speech. And bring your hands back to your heart and commit to action. Action that comes from the heart, that joins all of our hearts. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.